This episode is brought to you by the How to Move to Europe Visa Basics for U.S. Citizens course. Ready to leave the U.S.? Get started at livingabroadacademy.com/learn.
Welcome to our final episode of Season 1 of Experts and Expats. We published our first episode on December 18, 2024, and wow, what a year it has been.
Oh, yes.
Jeffrey?
For sure, it's been a big year.
Yeah.
Lots of changes and adaptations and
Pivoting. Yep.
Yeah.
This episode is also going to be our first video edition of the Experts and Expats podcast. We're not entirely camera shy, but we had some technical difficulties. So we've got a YouTube channel going, but so far we've only been putting our audio episodes up on YouTube. And so we want to start posting the video versions of those, of the interviews going forward. So we'll see how that works out. If you are listening via a podcast platform, just know that we will have some graphics that we'll be sharing today and discussing regarding this Expat Insiders report from InterNations. So if you want to see the visuals, go on over to YouTube, look for the link in this episode's description, and be sure to follow us over there on YouTube and like us if you find it of value. And if you haven't followed us yet on the podcast platform that you're in, go ahead and do that so that you get it served up for you every time we have a new episode. We're going to do this episode a little differently. If you've been listening, you know that in the previous episode, we interviewed the good people at InterNations, which is an expat community platform that has chapters in over 142 cities across the globe.
Yeah, that's right. So many cities. Every year, InterNations does a survey of expats to rank expat destinations. So we thought it would be a great way to end the year to review their what they call 2025 Expert Insider Survey together. So one thing we wanted to highlight today was the Expat Insider Survey, which is conducted every year in February. You can find it on the InterNations website, and just know that it covers the entire world. But we'll be discussing the most interesting aspects of what it reveals about Europe today. So over 10,000 expats participated in the survey. They represented 172 nationalities living in countries or territories worldwide. It's worth noting that the most common nationality participating were U.S. citizens. Expats included those from the InterNations community, but it was also promoted elsewhere. So it wasn't just InterNations expats.
Yeah. And I thought that the demographics of the expats were revealing. Here you can see on the screen, we're showing slides. The gender split is even, it's 50-50, half male, half female. 55% were in a relationship, but over 80% were without children. So, I mean, I think that speaks to, I'm reading that as that these are people who are there to work. And when we get to the top 15 overall ranking, like there's a lot of countries on there that like are not popular with the US. But
Yes.
I think that the people that are there are probably, it's like, oil and gas people, it's diplomats, it's like people going to work for these major corporations that are in those countries. So it's not specifically our demographics. So when you see the age splits here then too, the majority of the expats are in those working years. Only 19% of them were retired. So 76% had a degree, 42% of them had master's degrees. So considering that one of the major categories covered is working abroad, all of the subcategories are related to employment. So I'm going to say the majority of the expats are probably coming from that perspective. And this makes sense because the founders of InterNations were in that demographics. That is exactly why they created InterNations, based on their lives as employees who worked in foreign countries. So I just want to point out that the survey doesn't cover anything related to being self-employed or running your own business in a foreign country, but otherwise all the topics covered still relate.
For a country to be listed and ranked, at least 50 survey participants per destination were required. In 2025, 46 destinations met this requirement. Participants were asked to rate up to 53 factors related to expat life on a scale of 1 to 7. The survey emphasized personal satisfaction with these factors and considered both factual, for instance, housing costs, and emotional, like feeling at home or having that pull we talked about, those aspects with equal weight. And that's a great balance, we think. The individual factor ratings were grouped into 16 subcategories under 5 general topics, plus the responses to the question, all things considered, how happy were you with your life abroad in general?
So now we just want to go through all the topics and categories real quick. So if you go to the next slide, Jeffrey, because there are a really great list of things to consider when you're thinking about moving abroad. They're fairly broad, but I think they are a good first place to look when you're trying to come up with a short list of places. So the top one is quality of life. And underneath that, the subcategories are travel and transit. Like if you don't have that, your quality of life is going to suffer. Environment and climate, leisure options, healthcare, and safety and security are all under that quality of life tag. The ease of settling in is another major category. So that relates to how friendly are the locals,
Right.
how easy or hard it is to find friends, and then how easy is the culture and how welcoming is the culture or the people there. And then working abroad is related to career prospects, salary and job security, work and leisure, work culture, and satisfaction. And I think this is a good place for us to kind of, I don't know that we've ever said this, but in the making of the course that we did, we see our audience as the people who want to move abroad independently. So that means not through getting hired at a company, not going over there as an employee. And then also not going over there by marrying a local either.
Right.
So because
you're
those
very
two ways,
independent, right?
Yeah, it's about the independence of being able to go it on your own, fuel, basically, not being dependent on an employer or a spouse to be able to get the ability to live there. And then there's Expat Essentials, so digital life, how
What does
much do
that
they do?
mean? Can we ask what
So
does digital
some
life mean? That's such a funny, does that just mean like the
no,
ability to be online?
it means that like how hard is it to do life digitally or not? Some countries are very still paper focused. They don't have online forms, that you have to go into the office and wait in line or you have to make an appointment. You can't just do stuff
We do a
online.
lot of things online, like Estonia. That's incredible. Where some countries have a lot
Yes.
of things online.
Yeah. Yeah. So other expat essentials are admin topics, housing, and language. And then personal finance, like how rich or poor do you feel there,
Yeah, I
right?
was going to ask, what does that mean? Is it easy to get a bank account, or
It's more
or
about like how far does your dollar go, or how well do your personal finance survive over there? Like it's the difference between Turkey and Spain, I think, like inflation wise, what do things cost? All of that. And then their final question was, how happy are you with your life abroad in general? So that
right.
speaks to the sort of general happiness factor.
This is a great set of items, and do you think is there anything else you would add to that, Michelle? I think that's a pretty good coverage.
I think everything is pretty much covered there. What is not
Yeah.
covered is if you're self-employed or running a
Mm-hmm.
business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, this is coming from the perspective of those founders who were
Yes.
employees. So they really kind of come from that lens of this. You're hired, you're an employee. You're being sent to a new country. How well are you adapting there? What is your quality of
Mm-hmm.
life? Like my nephew just got transferred to London. They've been in North Carolina. The whole family's going to move to
Mm-hmm.
London. So he
Yes.
would be a great, candidate he fits into their demographics. I like it because
Mm-hmm.
we can fit it. We're going to only talk about the European countries that are
Yes.
on in this report, but it's through
Mm-hmm.
this focus. Like I like how they're
Yes.
focusing it.
Absolutely. There is career prospects there, which, we know there's people that, I mean, my gosh, that's very brave to move without a job and go to a country and look
Yeah.
for a job. And there are people that try to work locally. I've tried a little bit. So they're considering that to a degree, but maybe not to be a digital nomad, but
Yeah.
to get a
Yeah.
job there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So now we're going to move on to discussing all the survey results as it relates to the European countries only. We're not going to get into Saudi Arabia and some of the other countries that are there. But we want to explain something first, that we at the Living Abroad Academy and through our courses, we are currently only focusing on 22 countries in Europe. It includes countries that are in the EU and out of the EU, and it does not include all of the countries in the EU. We've just focused on them because they are the countries that we know and that we know are popular. So what happens in InterNations is that they are talking about a country that we do not cover in our course. And so we're not going to talk about that. And that country is Luxembourg. So we decided early on that we wanted to promote countries that met our demographics of US citizens who want to immigrate on their own, not through the employer or marriage base. And they also had to meet these general requirements. So let's go to the next slide and show the 22 countries. These are the countries that we do cover, and you'll see all of them are, for the most part, in Western, Northern, and Southern Europe.
Yes.
But there is a country in the middle of all of that, which is Luxembourg, and we do not cover that one. But the other general requirements that we wanted all of the countries that we cover at LAA are based on these general requirements, which is the ease of immigrating, affordability, safety, stability, and popularity. So they cover most of what the InterNations is covering, but
Yes.
I think the stability and popularity is not in the InterNations reporting. So we just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, we have our own metrics for how we devise stability and popularity too, that we'll get into in the course.
Yeah. And so based on this criteria and the 22 countries, Luxembourg was not on that list. Neither of us know much about it. It's not a popular country to go to. We don't think it's that affordable either or popular for US citizens. We might add it later, but for now we're ignoring it. And, like we included Switzerland on our list, but I think, if I were redoing that list, I don't know that I would leave that on there because there's not affordable pathways there, very limited pathways, I would say. So, but I think it's a popular place people would love to go to. And so I think we kept it on there to kind of show there are very limited ways to go to Switzerland. But if you are in that category, we have the information for it.
Okay. So let's get into the overall rankings. There's 46 countries ranked in order of how expats answer the questions. InterNations has a very lengthy review of the data, and they've talked. How many slides was that? Was it like over 100 slides?
It was 185 pages. That's how many.
Amazing.
That's the full report.
That's a lot
it's
of data.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lengthy review of the data, and they talked about them in terms of top 15 and bottom 15 in relation to the countries, right? Along with commentary on the trends, and especially countries that moved up or down the list over the past year. So for our audio listeners, we'll focus on the top 15 and the bottom 15. So let's start with the top 15. What's a little surprising about the top 15 is there's only one European country there, Spain, which came in number 9. So being a new Spanish resident, I'm really happy to see that. And I can say from my personal experiences, it's been a really positive place on so many levels. So I'm glad other people feel that way.
This is the overall rankings. So out of all of the 5 categories that they had people talk about, this is where those countries came up, 1 to 46, right, on their list.
Right. I mean, there's countries there, as a female, as a person from the gay community, somebody, if you like human rights, human dignity at certain levels, some of those countries are not going to resonate with you. But, but there's people have different, people have different priorities and tastes, places they like.
Yeah. And like, if you're an employee, you don't have a choice, like whether you're going there or not. So Panama was number 1. And, actually the top 3, Panama, Colombia, Mexico, are all Latin America. And then the next number 4 and 5 is Thailand and Vietnam. Number 6 is China. Number 7 is the UAE. 8 is Indonesia. And then Spain comes in at 9. And then the rest are Malaysia, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Philippines, Cyprus. Actually, Cyprus is another European country that we do cover.
Mhm.
and they were number 14. And then Brazil comes in at 15. So there's a lot of countries on here that we don't
Mhm.
talk
Right.
about. We've like both of us have kind of like decided against Latin America. I've pretty much said no to most of Asia, like Southeast Asia for now, at least. Thailand is still kind of a question mark for me. But yeah, you can see overall rankings like Europe didn't fare very,
Mhm.
very well on the top
No,
15.
that and that's very interesting. It shows you that people have different priorities. I wonder, because you said a lot of people in InterNations, they're with a company and they're transferred.
Yeah,
It may have something to do with that. I'm surprised
yeah,
India's probably somewhere, but it probably has a lot to do with that. Colombia. I have Colombian family members, and some people Medellin. I was it this
yeah,
year was ranked as one of the hippest and nicest cities. Well, let me take that back. They have one of the hippest neighborhoods in the world, and it's a very popular expat city. So there's good things
yeah,
happening there.
yeah,
There's some. I have a friend in where is she now? She's in Vietnam. That's there, right? Yeah, she
yeah,
she
yeah,
loves it. She's there writing a book,
yeah.
and she's like, "This is what I needed." And everybody needs some different
Right,
medicine. They need that.
right.
People have a different connection with
Yeah,
countries. So
yeah. And I was in Mexico for a month this year,
that's
actually. I
right.
went down, I was in Mexico City for a little bit, which is far too polluted for me, far too crowded. It was hot too. I went like in April. And then I went and spent a month in San Miguel de Allende, and it
Yeah.
was lovely. It was totally lovely, but I just can't help like reading about like
Yeah.
all the murders that are happening on the way from the airport to the town and like in the outskirts of town. And it's like
Yeah, yeah,
I can't live in the murder capital of the world. I just can't.
yeah. Well,
So
Mexico is such a beautiful, just stunning culture, and but when it's like when things go wrong, they can really go wrong.
yeah, and you'd
Like this,
never know, right? Because
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
gangs. It's just gangs. So I think it's the next slide now.
yeah.
What
The lower
was,
15. Yeah.
yeah, what was equally surprising was that the number of European countries that were in the bottom 15. So seven out of 15, that's almost half of the list was Europe. So in the order that they appear, Greece was at number 34.
Mhm.
And that's only two slots above the US. US was at
Yeah.
36. And so remember too that this survey was done in February of 2025. So I would
Mhm.
imagine the 2026 version is going to tell a very different story
Mhm.
about the US. So
Oh
it'll be
yeah.
interesting to see. Then the next European country is Italy at 37, 38 is Sweden, 39 is Norway, 41 is the UK. I mean, the UK, for me personally, I would
Mhm.
never recommend anyone moving there because I
They're
think
not
it's
they're
worse
not
than
going
the,
in a good direction right now, are they?
no,
Yeah. It's so
they're
sad.
like Turkey. They're like Turkey. They're 10 years ahead of the US. They wrecked their
Yeah.
economy in 2016 and
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
freedom of speech is like non-existent almost. I mean, it's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
going
It's
on
it's
there.
a tough time. It's a lovely country.
Yeah.
So
42 is Germany, 43 is Finland, and then that's yeah. So that's 7
oh,
out of
there's Turkey
15 in the
right there.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Turkey. And Kuwait is the one at the bottom, 46.
Well, Kuwait made
Um,
the list. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that means that I think that's
Singapore.
oil and gas, right? That's got to be
Yeah.
oil and gas people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So while European countries didn't fare well in the overall ranking, they did much better for some of the five topics and for the happiness level. So we're going to look at each of these top five categories and discuss
Mhm.
only the top 15. So the full report goes into much more depth. You can go to
Yes.
internations.org to find the report yourself. So let's just go through top
Sure.
category. First category is quality of life.
Quality of life. There's Spain, and it is pretty nice here. So
Yeah.
that's not surprising.
Spain
Yeah.
is
What
number
else?
one, right? Let's because
Yeah.
if people are watching or listening on the
Yeah.
podcast, they can't see this. So Spain is number
Spain.
one for quality of life. So
Mhm.
even though it only was at where was it in the overall ranking? Did it make it into the overall
It's
ranking?
number 9. See to the left there, number
Yep.
9.
Right.
It's
Okay,
yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing
Yeah.
that. So yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah. So
there's
we have
Spain,
Austria.
Austria, number four. Luxembourg is number five, actually.
Oh yeah, there it
But
is. Yeah. We didn't
yeah,
circle it.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Portugal's at number 10,
Yeah.
Switzerland's at 11, France is at 12, Denmark is at 13. So this is a really interesting quality. I mean, quality of life is you can't like get more
Yeah.
important than that,
It's
right?
interesting. Austria's
So
there at 4. And, people say it's beautiful,
six.
right? I mean, but is it 6? No, it's 4.
Yeah, it's number
Austria's at
four.
4 for quality of life. And, you hear a lot that people don't feel like the locals are friendly. And there's a little bit of that here.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it made 4 overall, and that's really interesting. I would expect France to be there, so that's France is down at 12. Very
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that
Mhm.
Europe did so poorly in the overall. But in
Mhm.
quality of life, they did pretty well. Ease of settling
Yes,
in is the next category, and not so great
Cyprus,
here. We
right?
got Cyprus at number 10, and then
Mhm.
Spain at number 13, and Greece at 14. That's not great,
No,
right?
no, that's not a. And I will say that it is. I think ease of settling in. That's such a tough because how friendly are people? How
Yeah,
willingness? How easy does somebody working with you at the bank in your language? There's so
right.
many aspects to that, and
Yeah,
not completely easy here in Spain. Just speaking on the
right,
ground, depends on
right.
where you are. I think Catalonia is a little tougher than some other areas, but yeah,
Yeah. So then working abroad is the next category.
yeah,
And Ireland is pretty top there. Well, Ireland has a
me
lot of
too.
American companies now, like hiding out and
Yes,
not paying taxes. So
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
transfers for like Facebook and Amazon and
Hmm.
Google, blah, blah,
Hmm.
blah.
Hmm.
Netherlands is number 4 for working abroad. That was
Denmark
interesting.
number 6,
Yeah.
Belgium number 8, Norway number 12. Well, you always imagine Norway. I don't know, like a utopia. So
Yeah.
Austria 15. Well, these all made the list. This is a great list. So if you're
Yeah.
somewhere on the
Yeah.
list, it's Austria's down. Now, interesting. Austria was so high on overall quality of life, but is at
Yeah.
15 for working abroad. Interesting.
Yeah. But it made the list for 15. Like there's,
That's right. That's a
how,
big deal.
30,
Yep.
31 that didn't make it at all. So,
All right. Personal finance, we have Spain at number 11 and Portugal at number 12. What did we say that was earlier? Personal
well,
finance.
that's
Just
just how
how yeah,
how are your finances? So is it hard to live there
right.
financially? Is it easy?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that speaks to their Southern European, you know,
Right.
economy
Yes. Yep. Yep. You
for
can do a
sure.
lot with your money
Yeah.
now. It's getting less pleasant by the day, but
Yeah. But Vietnam is number 1 for personal finance. And I was
ah,
thinking it was either between Vietnam and Turkey when I was like, I lost my
yeah.
contract. I need to go hang out and be cheap somewhere.
Well, that's interesting. My friend that is there now. I think she's a little burned out on how expensive everything is in the U.S. and she's loving
Yeah.
it. And you get that
Yeah.
feeling. I went to was it Guatemala 20 years ago, and I felt like, my gosh, I can do anything I want. Like you have that feeling,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you're
Yes.
not constrained at all. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's what that personal finance is about. It's like how far
Yes.
is your money going, right?
I don't
Expat
think
Essentials
just
is the
Luxembourg.
next
I don't think
category.
I don't think there's anything highlighted on this for us. I'm gonna try. Nope, nothing there. Just
No, there was nothing.
Luxembourg, which is not.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
nothing on the no European country made the list top 15 for Essentials.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Happiness level.
Let's see if I can
Spain
get the
came
slide to
in
work. There's
at,
Spain at 4. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Cyprus is at 6.
6. There we go. Portugal's at
Portugal,
11.
yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that 2 euro beers have a lot to do with the happiness in Spain. There's other reasons to be happy too.
Right. Right.
Ask the English. That's why the English like Spain. No, that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, yeah, great list. It's
So,
nice to see it
you
broken out
know,
like this. Yeah.
yeah, and I can see like down the road, if we've built a big enough audience that we can do our own survey, right? For
That'd be
the
great.
independent, because
Absolutely.
I think that is really skewed towards the people who actually have jobs there, that have
Hmm.
been transferred,
Yes.
it's through work. So that's a
Right.
very different, it's such a different way of going to a new country because you still have the culture of your work. You've been taken care of. Usually they've moved you there, they're setting up your
Mhm.
housing, they're doing all this stuff for you. So that's
Yeah,
a very different experience from someone who's just going to pick up and go to a new country and has to kind of find their way themselves or
absolutely.
hire an
You get a lot of
expert.
support. Yeah, we were, it's the Emily in Paris thing, right? You go, nobody likes you, but you still have your friends back in the US. You still have your company that's supporting you. You could apply a little pressure from the US to get them to work with you. And, they're always scared. I don't know, I don't want to get into it, but
Right.
oftentimes I've lived it. They're scared of the American, like oh my gosh, what's he doing? Uh,
I'm sorry, I
but
was hung up on the Emily in Paris reference. I've never seen that show, so
oh
I
yeah,
didn't
no,
know that she
well,
was. Did she go by an employer?
this is very important cultural knowledge, Michelle. No, it's not. But anyway, so her boss was going to go to the Paris. They acquired this agency in Paris, this ad agency that
Okay.
has luxury brands, and the American brand acquired it. So
Okay.
her boss was going to go work with the office, to kind of bring in American ideas and work with them. Well, the boss surprisingly becomes pregnant. And so
Oh,
Emily, her employee, ends up going in her place. And she's from
gotcha.
Chicago. She's all about
Gotcha.
Chicago. And they're all
Okay.
like, who are you? They're calling her a hick, la plouk, and they're calling her a hick. And you don't know anything about luxury. She's a social media genius. And gradually they
Right.
realize, oh no, she's a genius and we need that. They don't want to have anything to do with it. I think we've lived that too, right? Of being the digital oddball. But it's a
Right,
really, but
right.
what relates to this is that no, you are a cultural oddball when you go somewhere else, and you may never. And she realizes, well, I'm never going to fit in, but I can
Right.
enjoy it. I'm just getting the mindset that I don't need to disappear into this culture. I will always be an American, but I will be
Yeah.
respectful. I will learn some language. I will learn how to order food. I will learn how to do a lot of things that are polite.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's the difference of like the person who actually is all in on the culture, wants to go there, wants to retire there, wants to die there, you know,
Hmm.
as opposed to the
Hmm.
person who's just like, I'm on an adventure. I want to go do this. I'm in the stage of my life where I can do
Right?
this. I want to go do this. Who knows if I'm
Yes.
really that committed to staying until the bitter end,
Hmm.
like,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and so like it's the difference between like, do you get citizenship or not? Like, because a lot of these countries have a pathway to citizenship,
Hmm.
and like those criteria
Well,
has those requirements has started changing now in Europe too. I mean, France actually has just now
yeah.
upped the level of language skills that you have to get
Mhm.
citizenship to like, I think it's C1 now,
Oh my
maybe.
gosh.
I don't know. They
Yeah.
upped it. Like it's harder. Like, and it's hard
Yeah,
to learn
well,
French, you know?
oh, it is. And
So
we know we will never speak well enough, but
yeah,
maybe well enough for their exam. I
right,
don't know.
right.
There's something like that in Italy too. There's a point system where you can, if you speak, anyway, it's a different path, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that kind of takes us to the end here.
let's stop there.
This is going to be our final episode of
Yes.
2025,
Little
or what
tear
we
in our
call
eye,
season
our first
one. Yeah.
season. Yes.
It's
Wow.
season one, right? Which actually
Yeah.
might happen
Yes.
in January, who knows?
Yes. Exactly.
But
But
we're hard at work at the course. We're going to be launching that soon. And
mhm.
then we are already starting to fill our calendar for the season two episodes. We've got someone from Croatia already lined up,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and we're working on teeing up a financial advisor. So it would
Hmm.
be someone who could cover all of the taxes and income requirement, or all of the things related to
Yeah.
how to do your taxes and stuff abroad. So that would be
Hmm.
not country specific, but very expat life specific.
Hmm. Yes. And I know also he's going to speak to this, how to set up residency in a state, how to, yeah, again, it's
Oh yeah,
taxes, but
yeah,
also
yeah,
mitigating these challenges with currency. It's a very
yeah,
important subject, and you don't really
yeah,
realize how important it is when you
yeah,
decide to become an expat. So it's great to have an expert in your corner for that. I just
yeah,
wanted to take a moment and thank everyone for just
yeah,
the incredible amount of listens that you're following us and you're listening, and our what is the word, listenership, our
yeah,
just our
right,
audience has just
yeah,
exploded, and
yeah.
just we're really thankful for that, and just your enthusiasm about not only being an expat but supporting us.
And if you go to our website, I think it is on the podcast page, the overview of the podcast, where there's a link to say, tell us what you want to hear about. Is there a country you want to hear
Absolutely.
about? Is there a topic that you want to hear about? Like one of the roundtables we talked about doing was maybe healthcare in different countries. What are some of these expats experience with their healthcare systems in their country? The other one was driving, because John and Tara talked
Oh,
about like
absolutely.
how hard it is, almost impossible to get a driver's license in Italy. So it's a very difficult situation that if you can't pass the driver's test, you can't drive there. And if you're living in a rural part, you're driving
Yeah.
illegally. And
Yeah.
if they catch you, they will kick you out of the country. So I thought that would be an interesting topic to
Yeah.
talk about all the different people in different countries and their experience with driving.
Yeah.
And I think if you're living in the bigger cities, there is great transportation in a lot of European cities. But if you are living more rural, you do
Right.
have to have a
Right.
car.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, I
Yeah.
think, a $500 process here in Spain to get a license. And they say the test
Oh,
is so difficult that most people, Spanish people that have a license, couldn't pass it again.
well, in the Netherlands, I heard it was $2,000
Oh
just
my,
to get, the
more than the
license.
car. No. Yeah. It's, it's crazy.
Yeah. All
Oh
right.
my
Well, yeah.
goodness.
So
Well, yeah.
again, thank you to everyone who's
Thank you.
listening. We
Yeah.
super
Thank you. Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yes.
Um, and we will see you in the new year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. I'm sure you'll be
Yeah.
listening to this in 2026. So have a great one.
Yeah.